Hello and welcome to Art with Lórien, the place to reconnect with your divine inner artist and discover the joy of painting outside the lines. And I know it's been some time since I've shared my video series and on this channel, and I'm so excited to relaunch along with our equinox and the energies of our times. I'm really excited to share this beautiful setting that I'm in now, taking a walk and enjoying what I'm dubbing the Super Bloom 2.0 here in Southern California. So I just wanted to start my today's show and episode with you from this place and just give you a little bit of visual insight to what I've been up to in these months and times. And hopefully, if you're a subscriber from a long time now, I've been on YouTube here with Art with Lórien for about, I think it's about 3 years now. Hopefully you've had a chance to explore and play with my foundation series videos and many of the other art making videos where I invite you to connect with your divine inner child, to create from the heart, to awaken and nourish through creativity and your God-given right, your birthright as a creator. And if not, I invite you to do that, to be inspired by what I've created here to share, basically for the upliftment of humanity, to raise the vibration on the planet, and to help us all in our evolution spiritually and in body and mind. So I'll sign off now and meet you in the studio. Hope you're having a beautiful day or night wherever you may be. And just breathe in this beauty. See you in the studio. Welcome into my studio. Welcome in to my home studio, and this is an in the studio playlist series video. And I just wanted to welcome you. Thank you for being courageous, for embarking on an inner journey of creativity with yourself. And so I just wanted to make sure that you know that to create, to embark, and to commit and have that strong intention to make something, to create from the heart with an open heart takes a lot of courage, and I just want to acknowledge you for that. And so now I'm going to go ahead and just get started on this particular episode. And what I like to do is show you what we're going to use. So today I thought I am introducing a project that I've had an opportunity to design through the inspiration of a few different places, and I'll share about that. But it's basically, these are some samples. These are 2 pieces that are completed for the most part. This one's still a work in progress. And so this is the project, and I'm calling it, it's a self-respect, a magnificent self-portrait project. And so here's what you'll need. I recommend for the paper itself, you can use Bristol board. You can use watercolor paper. And I'm personally going to be using this watercolor paper. And you also will need some sort of acrylic paints. You can also use gouache. And if you have seen any of my other videos, the foundation series in specific, around episode 1, 2, I start to introduce the materials that I use in my studio a lot. And they're always in the description, every art supply that you'll need or something like it. So I'm going to it'll be in the description to this video. But I've used lots of the gouache paints in my whole foundation series, and so you can check out that video series. But also I'm going to be just using some basic acrylic bottled paints. You also require some brushes. Any size will do. Some sort of a palette. You can also use a paper plate, and water, and a sketchbook, a journal, because you will be doing some journaling. And this is one of mine. I use this a lot, and I've shared this in a couple of my other videos up on YouTube here. So any kind of journal, art journal, it can have lines, but you're also going to need blank paper to do some practice drawing of our face, and this kind of generic face that I'll be teaching. And you'll also be doing some journaling processing. You'll be doing some writing, and I'll be introducing an exercise soon, and you'll need to be doing some writing. So you can use like whatever you want to write, and then blank plain paper with outlines for a little bit of like a tear out. We're going to do some tearing of the paper. And a pencil, any pencil that you prefer. And I think that's about it. Also I like white paint markers, and that's for the embellishing and some of the text work around here, and the detailed work. So I like, if you have a set of paint pens, that's super fun, but I recommend at the minimum a white paint pen. And again, these will all be listed in the description, so you can gather them and then come back to the video and play along, and pause it at any time. The impetus to design this project came from a long-term relationship I've had with this program called Living Values Education, and I'll put a link to their website. I started to learn about and train and become a trainer and do work with Living Values Education in 2001, and used it in my classroom for over 10 years, and also have done teacher trainings in Thailand at the Burmese-Thai border in a refugee camp. That's how I got my start. And then my classroom, of course, and then just here and there teaching workshops and training teachers and bringing it to the larger educational communities wherever I'm invited. And so the project that I'm going to be sharing with you today is inspired by the value respect. What we're going to do is, first we're going to brainstorm, and we're going to brainstorm about our qualities. And so I'm going to ask you now to take out your journal, or be ready to have something to write with, pen or pencil. And I'm going to ask some reflective questions. And as I ask the questions, and you just write down kind of stream of consciousness. So I want you to think about some personal qualities that you already have, that you know about yourself. Maybe it's smart, intelligent, talented, creative, amazing, phenomenal, loves details, gentle, cooperative, confident, humble, trustworthy, fun, honest, artistic, benevolent, generous, sensible, sweet, loving, patient, tolerant. Just sort of like think about these words and add your own, and just think about yourself. And I think sometimes it's easy to think about how they would describe us. So you can always pause and ask someone in your family or nearby, or a friend or family, what are my top 3 qualities, or what do you love about me, or what stands out when you think of me? And then just write those down. And it's like you can do them in a list form. You can write out sentences, but just it's basically like a brain drain is what I'm asking you to do. And just let those words, those descriptive words, fall out onto the paper. And now I want you to think about a time when you were doing something that you love, where you lost track of time and space. Just imagine, remember back to doing something that you love or that you feel very proud of. And then think about, extract what were the qualities that you were demonstrating as you were doing that. Courage, confidence, know-how, wisdom, honesty, clarity, focus, concentration, any of those qualities. And then just continue to write them down. So hopefully you have a big list, and you can always come back and continue to do this. And we're going to be incorporating the qualities into your art. So, I probably have about 15 in these paintings, or 10 or 15. So just maybe gather about that many. And if you have more, you can always circle the ones you really want to use for this particular project. But when you do think about the people that in your life, just know that those are your qualities. What you see in others is a reflection of your inner world, your inner qualities, your outer beingness, who you are. So all the people that maybe whoever you thought of and you wrote their qualities down, those are your qualities. And so it's so easy to forget sometimes how special we are, how unique we are, to slow down and really appreciate who we are. And I'm encouraging you to do that now. So just off to the side, put that paper off to the side for now. And we're going to get started on putting down the colors so the paint can dry, and then we can work on the face. So, and you can take your paper and decide, are you going to have the portrait format layout, or are you going to have the landscape, the horizontal layout, and just see what you want to do, and you can decide. Here's some examples. Here's another example. So I'm going to start painting, and what I recommend that you do is just choose two colors. And you can make it easy on yourself by choosing like warm colors, cool colors, like this was green, this was warm reds, so cools, and this was cools as well. And then I added in. But I'm going to start with, I think I'm going to put down this turquoise, and I'm just going to kind of squeeze it out onto the paper, just like this. And then I'm going to use one of my thicker brushes, and I'm just going to get that paint on there, get some water going, thin it out a little bit. And it's kind of fun to maybe also use white. So white's a nice way to give it some contrast later. So I'm going to have, and I'll show you what I'm doing. So I'm just laying down the paint so I can get it in a place where it'll dry while we're working on the other thing. So I just want to put down my color, and you can kind of like swirl your paint, and you may or may not use your palette if you're mixing, certainly, but I just squirted the paint right onto the paper here. And I'm going to do that a little bit more. And I'm going to stop because it's going to be too thick. But I'm basically just getting this paint on here. And I'll hold it up and show you. And what I like about these plastic tablecloths is you can paint right on them. And if it really is important, you can wipe them off with a sponge before it dries, or it'll just dry and you have it getting kind of painted up and decorated. You can always add water to thin it out, make it smooth. And also, this paint's pretty thick, so you can get a lot of mileage if you add a little bit of water. Okay, so I'm basically done. I'm just gonna hold it up. It looks like the ocean. It's really cool looking. Okay. And I like to really get the paint out of this brush. Acrylic paint does dry. It's plastic. It does dry and it can ruin brushes. So you want to really get the... Okay. So here's what I have. And I'm going to let this dry now. So you're letting your paper dry, and you're basically we're going to move on to creating this face. So this is a basic line drawing of a generic face. There's two ways you can create the eyes: closed, like this kind of Buddha look, or the open eyes. And I learned this, Matisse did this, Henri Matisse did this kind of simple line drawing face. And then I learned this technique from watching videos from a contemporary artist and teacher named Shiloh Sophia. So she teaches this method here, and I'm going to show you. So this is what you do. You have, and I recommend you kind of practice this. Like I've been practicing in my sketchbook, and I just, I do different eyes open. I play around with the nose and the lips, different sizes and hair and things like that. So you can play with this technique as you go. So first you're going to draw like an egg shape. Okay? And then you're going to divide that in half with a line. Now I'm showing you this. I would use pencil when you're doing it. But okay, so then you're going to divide this in half, divide this in half, and then divide this in half. Okay? So on this the first line I drew, this is where our eyes are going to go. And I'll draw the eyes closed. So I'm going to do the closed eye right on that line. Then I'm going to bring in the eyebrow, which also becomes the bridge of the nose, down to about that line. Then I'm going to add the second eyebrow. So this is like an eyebrow that also is the bridge of the nose. Okay, and now this is really important. The next piece is drawing the little, it's like a bird shape for the nose. And so I'm just going to do this, this. And then there's like these little marks here that are the nostrils. And then the next point is the part between our nose, tip of our nose, and the top of our lip. And that's what's really important to line up the center of the lips, the V in the top of the lips, to the center of the tip of our nose. And this is really important. So you just want to line this up here. And you can just do like a little line and then bring the lips in. And then bring our lips in like so. These are, everyone's will look different. So even though that's why I call it kind of a universal or generic face, because even though they're the same components, we all look different, and that's why this is going to look different for you too. So the key here is that the center of this nose lines up to the center of the lips. Then you could put the little chin, a little line, and then about the ears, the bottom of the ear lines up to about the line here, so you can just bring your ear. And you can do the shape of the ear if you like to. So the ear, bottom of the ear is about the tip of the nose. Okay, and then the hairline, so you could do the hair can come in, whatever hairstyle you choose. And then most importantly, the neck. Now the neck comes down from the bottom of the ears. And you can have it, contour in, but definitely starting at the bottom of the ears for the neck. Otherwise it looks like the head's sticking on a stick. So you want the ears and the top of the neck to connect. So that's why bring your line down from the bottom of the ears. And that's pretty much it for the basic face. You can bring the hair even down to this line. Now with paint it's going to look nicer. This is just a marker. And then with the eyes open, it's kind of similar, but you're going to, do the full eye. And then the eyeball. And you can make him or her look any way you want with the shape at the top of the eye. So that's how you do the basic face. Okay. And that's what we're going to be putting on our paper here. And so it's drying pretty nicely. It is curving a little bit. But now while this is still drying, we have a little bit more to do in our journal. So I want you to go back to your journal now. You can also, pause and practice this face over and over. Work on the shape of the head. I just quickly drew an egg shape. You could do like a more round face, a more square face. Just experiment and have fun. As you can see, I've done different hairstyles. I've done a lot of pencil drawings of this face. And it's something that I think it's a really good skill to know, to be able to draw people, faces, generic. This isn't specific, but here's one with the closed eyes. So it's a universal face, and so you can completely expand upon this. This is just a basic skill that I wanted to share today, and it's really fun. There's you can take this in a lot of different directions. And where we're headed with this is you're going to put the face on top of the painted piece. So going back to the journal, I want you to now write out from the journal onto other little pieces of paper that we will be gluing and Mod Podging, which is a material I didn't mention, but I'll show you in a little while. We'll be attaching with Mod Podge. So you can use your journal, some just plain white paper, and write out in intentional or I am statements, they're called, a few different, let's say three different phrases. So for instance, my inner beauty, so these are elements that are self-respectful phrases that I came up with. My inner beauty and humility make me shine. I accept and love and approve of myself. There's a couple there. This one says, I take loving care of my body. I am a beautiful, loving, generous, and thoughtful soul. I allow myself to make mistakes, allowing myself space to be me. So I'm asking you now to create an I am statement, really reveling and appreciating and going into drawing some of those qualities from your list and developing three either I am statements or affirmative kind of affirmation type statements. For example, I take loving care of my body. Something like that. I follow a routine of self-care that benefits me every day. I love to run and play. I love to be out in nature. It soothes my soul. You know, something along those lines. 3 different affirmative, intentional statements, and then you'll tear those out, and then we'll be attaching them on later. So go ahead and you can pause the recording, the video, and write out your 2 to 3, and then, so after, let's say you've written one, and I'll do one. I am shining with inner power every moment. Okay, so there's my sentence. It's a short sentence, and then I'm asking you to tear it out so it has like a nice kind of organic, fun edge to it. So no scissors. And then later, you know, I'll put it somewhere on my painting. And you can do 2 or 3 or even just 1. It's totally up to you. It's your creation. And so take some time to have those ready. And then we'll pick up with putting a face onto the paper. Okay. So I wanted to show you how we're going to attach these on, and that's one more material that I didn't mention before, and this is Mod Podge. This is a great material supply to have in your toolkit. It's kind of a thick glue, and we used it for my collage videos and art. The journaling, the collaging the covers, and then I like to use one of these brushes to apply Mod Podge, and then you just rinse this out really well. So I recommend picking up a bottle of this, and that again will be on my list. And so now let's pick up to where we're going to put the face on our paper. Now you can do it in pencil first, or just pencil in general. You don't need to use a marker. And I'll do a marker so that you can see it easily. Okay. And I'm gonna use this format. And I am using my lines, the very light guidelines with the pencil, which will be covered in paint, and I know you'll be able to see them. I can see them, so I'm just going to draw my features on there. So this is what I have so far. So I'm just kind of sketching out and refining the lips a little bit. I'll do this more with paint, but just to get a basic foundation down. And then, now the hair is part of the embellishment, so I'm gonna wait on the hair for now. But I don't know, we'll see. Maybe she'll have hair that comes out like the ocean. So I'll show you what I'm doing with her hair. So her hair's coming off to the side. Okay, so the next thing you do after you have your face down, is really look at your piece. And like I know for me, she has a long neck. I'm determining that she's female. I'll probably give her a nice necklace, like some kind of a choker style necklace, or do some kind of embellishing here. That's all in the later steps of embellishment. But her hair, I'm using this space onto my left to kind of bring her hair over, sort of like this one. And so what you're going to do is just have your basic foundation of the background, the drawing of your face, your generic or universal person. And I mean, even like this one, I mean, these don't necessarily need to be human. They can be superhuman or godlike or goddess. So this is, this is all about imagination and using our imagination. These don't need to look like real people, obviously, the colors that they are. It's about color and expression and symbolism and this whole concept of self-respect and really being a magnificent self and appreciating and nourishing from that self-love and these qualities that we've been exploring. So I'm just going to play with her hair a bit. Maybe she'll even have earrings. So this is where you get to have fun and play. And so I'm going to end here. This will be the end of this particular episode. I'll upload another video where we will take on the next steps in this process of the lights, the darks, the contrasting colors, adding in new colors, and bringing it all together, as well as refining, writing our words in, and attaching the I am statement or the intention or the power affirmation, and putting there that somewhere in your composition. And so thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to sharing in my next in the studio video, part 2 to this Your Magnificent Self painting. Thank you for watching and subscribing, and feel free to leave comments, and I really thank you for being here with me today. See you in the studio.